Hey guys, so it is nighttime right now, but I figured that I would take this time, to do a care video on one of the animals that I own, just because he is more active at night and he pooped in his water bowl, so that shit was opened up anyway. Oh my god, literally. Okay, anyway, this is one that I recommend as a beginner pet. Anytime that anyone tells me they want to get into snakes and they want to know what to start with, I don't say ball python. I know a lot of people will say ball python, but just because of their picky eating habits, I don't think that it's smart to get a ball python. Also, they don't get too big, but they get bigger than I think people anticipate. So this is who I recommend. Right here. Oh, okay, there. That's who I recommend. This is Jinx. He's I think he sees himself, but he's my corn snake. He's about almost 2 years old. I got him as a hatchling. When I got him, his whole body easily fit into the palm of my hand. Easily. I have not measured to see how long he is, not for lack of trying, but he never stops moving. So, but that's part of also why I recommend snakes. I think they're more fun when they move. Ball pythons don't move too much. Sometimes, but not really. I also like the skinnier, longer snakes, and the ball pythons tend to be the shorter, fatter ones. Which I think they have adorable faces and stuff. I just don't really have the interest in owning one. I also like the belly patterns on corn snakes. That's where they get their name. Is those patterns are supposed to look like Indian corn. I don't see it. But there you go. There's the reasoning for that. He is not full grown. Usually they're full grown at about 3 years old. They never technically stop growing. It just gets less noticeable. You know, like they'll grow at a painfully slow pace when they're older. But the average length is 3 feet, 3 to 4 feet. The max is 6 feet. So you're lucky if you get one. That's 6 feet. He is a male. And unlike most animals, snakes, most species, not all, but snakes, the females do tend to be the ones who grow bigger rather than the males. So he just genetically and gender based will not be 6 feet, which is fine. But corn snakes are technically diurnal, which means they can be active during the day or the night. Although they generally tend to be less active during the day and much more during the night. I'll show you the enclosure. Again, I suck at editing, so we're just gonna do this. That's what he's in right now. It's a 40-gallon lock top, 2 locks on the top there, which is a must because he has gotten out, and I have found him in my mom's shoe in her closet. And luckily my mom is not afraid of them, but it was an annoyance. So yeah, you shouldn't have been in there. He's trying to act like he didn't do that. But they are some of it. Honestly, he's the most well-tempered snake I have ever come into contact with. He's never acted like he was gonna strike at me, never attempted to, and obviously I've never been bitten by him. My other snakes, yeah, they've bitten the hell out of me, yeah. Him, no, he is like the puppy dog version of a snake. And it's great. I love him so much. Right now, he's on a diet of 1 large mouse, or full-grown mouse. They're not like incredibly large. Like don't think they're like the size of a rat or anything. But it's just 1 adult mouse a week. We feed on Thursdays. I do my other snakes at the same time. Salem is on fuzzies, but I'm thinking about moving her up to hoppers just because the fuzzies aren't leaving a food lump anymore. You generally, when it comes to feeding, a lot of people ask me how to figure out what size they should be feeding to. The rule, just generally, is the prey should be a little bit thicker than the thickest part of their body. So, like right here would be like the thickest part of his body, so a little thicker than that. And that's what you want to go for. So, I have noticed, and I don't know if this is like a well-known thing or anything like that, but I have noticed that once they advance from pinkies, you don't really notice a lot of growth while they're eating pinkies. Once you go up to fuzzies, that's when their growth just takes off. And it doesn't obviously happen overnight, but it's like you go to get them out of the cage and you're like, wow, you were a lot smaller when I got you. Another huge reason why I recommend corn snakes as beginners is just the lack of, not the total lack, but the flexibility in heat and humidity, and also lighting. He also likes to play in hair. I forgot to mention that. He's weird. I don't even know honestly where he is right now, but ball pythons need, a specific heat and a specific humidity. Corn snakes don't need that. Well, they do. There are limitations, obviously. Don't freeze them, don't fry them. But, oh, there he is. But he did his whole first year with me with no heat pad, and obviously no humidity, they don't need it, and just a light for light's sake to do like a day-night cycle. But they don't need any kind of specific heat, just make sure the tank doesn't drop below 75 or above 95. 95 is pushing it. I have his basking at 85, and that's just through a heat pad under his tank, and I started doing that because he wouldn't accept the correct size meals anymore. Yeah. Because he knew he couldn't digest them. It was during the winter months and he was getting colder, so we put a heat pad under there, and after a few weeks of adjusting to that, he knew that the heat is what helps them digest. He knew that he'd be able to digest those again and started eating again, which was a huge relief to me. But yeah, I think that we're just gonna let him stay there. I think that they're great. Okay, you're in my shirt now too. I think they're great beginner pets. They have amazing personalities and temperaments, and I would completely recommend him to anyone. If there's anything that you guys are wondering, if you're watching this because you're going to be getting a corn snake, or you just my parents wouldn't let me get snakes when I was younger, and so I just liked watching videos of people who had reptiles. But if you have any questions that I didn't cover, leave them in the comments below. I'll for sure respond to all of them. I don't get that many comments at this point. And yeah, I'll put my Instagram, as usual, in the description, so you can see more pictures of Jinx and the other snakes that I own. And